That voice. And I've kind of been putting off talking about this every time I hear that voice. Because I'm an idiot. Hey guys, philzeroyt here. So, today we're checking out 23. And this has got to be like the most requested song by far. I mean, I stopped counting, but like this one seems to pop up the most by like a long shot in the comments, like since day one. And I also know from what you guys have said that PAUUUUUUUUU sings this entire song and that it's a ballad. If that's true, I hope I can find things to break down, because usually with ballad compositions, the song's pretty standard all the way through. And that's because the focus is usually more on the lyrics. Imagine you guys just pranked me and it's like not a ballad at all, and it ends up being like a speed metal song or something. I need to learn how to place my lights better. It always makes a shadow right here on my face and it gets so hard to edit.
I looked at you same as before. What had changed I do not know, but the thought of you replayed in secret. It hurt me, but I asked for more. Falling down your rabbit hole, I kept on biting back what I was feeling. I closed my eyes and you were there, innocently unaware.
Nice.
Stop me, tell me, break my heart for all I care, as long as I get to be there. Stop me, tell me, is it wrong? Is it wrong? Is it wrong? It kills me when you're gone.
That voice.
Is it wrong? Is it wrong? Fast forward to 23.
Okay. Okay, so this is like a singer-songwriter storytelling heartbreak song, but something fun they're doing is that they're using that deconstructed harmony trick that they did in Z. That was my first ever video on The Warning. Wow, what a throwback.
Falling down your rabbit hole, I kept on biting back what I was feeling. I closed my eyes and you were there, innocently unaware.
So the two main melodies in the verse are... But listen to what happens when I play them together. So the two melodies, they're actually in harmony, but they're just split apart. Maybe not this one, unless they're doing like some weird dissonance thing on purpose. See, if I play them descending, then it's fully in harmony. Wait a minute. Isn't that the pre-chorus? Okay. So I don't know if that was intentional, but they're taking it a step further here. Anyway, it's the same melody technique they used in Z. And you can tell when a song is using this trick when the second melody kinda sounds similar, it's just a bit higher, but it's not so high that it's like a full octave jump. So this is the first melody. So a full octave jump would be... But that's not what she's doing, it's kind of in the middle. So I remember a bunch of you asked me in the Z video, like how I was able to catch this technique right away, and this is how. So if the rhythms of the two melodies are the same, or like almost the same, but the second melody isn't quite as high as an octave jump, it's basically guaranteed that they're doing this harmony trick because it pretty much has to be for it to be on key. Wow, what a throwback to my first warning video. Isn't that crazy? How music can have such like a profound effect on our lives? And something like this melody technique can remind you of another moment. Like 3 months ago, I didn't even know who they were. And now I'm still listening to their music and I'm about to go to 2 of their concerts soon. Okay, one more thing. And I know I'm sounding like a broken record about like the beauty and simplicity that they're always showing, but like that guitar riff. So it's not a super complicated riff, but this is a prime example of how something simple just fits the song. Like they're only adding what the song needs. Like if she added some like it would sound stupid. Like it wouldn't match the song. That voice. Yeah, Danny. Ali's bass was so pronounced there, too.
Fast forward to 23, we're barely old enough to drink the bittersweet return of all these feelings. Sudden glances leave their wake. I cannot breathe under the weight. If you look hard enough, I fear you'll see it. The world around you cancels out the words that I can't say out loud. Stop me, feel me, heal me.
Come on. Okay, so I can see why I've been comment bomb with this song since like day one. It's just a great heartbreak rock ballad. And of course, Pau's voice sounded amazing as always while she's drumming. I know I've said this like countless times, but Pau has like a really unique and like special voice. Okay. Hey guys, so I'm super annoyed editing this right now because the audio cut out during this next part. I think when I moved the mic, this cable came slightly loose and I didn't notice because I'm an idiot. So this whole part of the video was just unusable with no audio. Luckily the sound comes back later when I just happened to move the mic again and then I realized that this light wasn't on. Anyway, now I know I need a better mic stand because this one keeps dropping, so I keep messing with it and stuff like this happens. But onwards and upwards. Let's turn this negative into a positive. There are no rules here. And I wanted to dub this part in because I think it's pertinent to the video and the song. So I was talking about how the star of this performance is obviously Pau. It's one of her spotlight songs, but specifically what makes the song shine is how much emotion she can get through her singing. So her voice naturally has like this sultry smokiness to it already, but she adds these cries and like these vocal fry moments in the bridge, which complement her voice like so well. And I just want to play the bridge again because I think this section highlights it really well. Every time I hear that chorus. So you can feel that emotion with like every word. It almost sounds like she's crying. So story-wise, I'm obviously long past this heartbreak phase in my life, but even then, I can still feel that sorrow and that angst in her voice, and I can't help but be drawn into that emotion. Like if I were younger and singler and got turned down by someone that I was madly in love with, I would be playing this song all day, every day, eating a bucket of ice cream in bed. Not that heartbreak's age dependent, but that's just the first thing that came to mind. Also, the song's talking about being 23, so... Also, I still eat ice cream in bed. So sorry again about this janky editing. I just thought this part was too important to just cut it out. Anyways, thanks for sticking around, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. I'm about to get really nerdy. Like I said, there's not too much to break down in ballads usually. It's usually more straightforward, which, again, isn't a bad thing. Like, not every song needs all this fancy trickery in it. And something they do really well, like in all their songs, but it's especially evident here, is something songwriters call marrying the lyrics. And this is when the lyrics fit the melody and cadence in like a very effortless and natural manner. So I've only just listened to this, but there are some lyrics that already went like and stuck to my head, and there's a reason for that. So I think the second verse lyrics were, fast forward to 23, we're barely old enough to drink. I think that was it.
Fast forward to 23, we're barely old enough to drink. The bittersweet return.
So there's actually a reason why these lyrics are so memorable. Like, try just speaking the lyrics. Fast forward to 23, we're barely old enough to drink. It almost doesn't even need the melody, right? Like the way it's spoken, it's almost in the same rhythm and cadence as when it's sung. And this is one of the secrets to writing catchy lyrics that really get drilled into people's heads. Like when it feels and sounds more natural, it's easier for us to remember it. Fast forward to 23, we're barely old enough to drink. So the musical rhythm and melody aren't really changing like the nature of the lyrics, it's just adding some color to it. So for example, if we change the lyrics to when we were both 23, we used to sneak out for some drinks. So that was the same number of syllables, but it didn't feel natural, right? So that's because the emphasis was on the wrong syllable. Ugh. Anyone else get hot when wearing headphones for too long? So when you speak that line, fast forward to 23, fast forward to 23, the emphasis is on the syllable in both cases, so it matches, right? But if we use the other lyrics that we changed it to, when we were both 23, you hear how the emphasis is now on the second syllable? When we, and if you try to like force it into the melody, when we were both 23, it feels like unnatural, right? Because you're trying to force the emphasis on the first syllable, but if you speak that line, when we were both 23, the emphasis is on the we, it's on the second syllable, not the first. So when lyrics can be sung effortlessly, like almost like you can just speak them, that's what marrying the lyrics means. Like listen to any top 40 or pop song and they all do this. Country writers are especially good at doing this. What else can we talk about? This video felt short. Oh, so a lot of people have been asking me to comment on PAUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUU because I know it looks kind of like a magic trick, and I'm like, do I really want to demystify that? But let's talk about it. But before I begin, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to discount the skill. Like, it still takes a lot of practice and coordination and like smart composition to do this. So when you're playing and singing at the same time, and this can be for any instrument, like your brain is kind of jumping back and forth between singing and the instrument. And ideally, you want to have the instrumental like so practiced that you can kind of just put that on autopilot so you can fully focus on singing. But there are some tricks to make this easier, and I can see a couple things that Pau is doing. So let's listen again, but let's watch Pau. So I'm obviously not a drummer, but I've been around a lot of drummers that sing, so I've kind of seen like the process. But everyone's obviously different, so I can't say for sure that this is going to be what Pau does specifically, but I would think that there would inevitably be at least some commonalities.
Fighting back what I was feeling. I closed my eyes and you are there, innocently unaware. Stop me, tell me, break my heart for all I care, as long as I get to be there. Stop me, tell me, is it wrong?
So you see how she's really leaning her body in when she's stomping on the kick drum here?
I close my eyes and you are there, innocently unaware. Stop me, tell me, break my heart for all I care, as long as I get to be there. Stop me, tell me, is it wrong?
So she's doing this, like, again, I could be wrong, like this is just what I've seen from hanging out with other drummers, but she's doing this to activate her muscle memory. So she's like exaggerating all her movements at the start so she can get her mind and body into that groove. And once she's found that groove, she can kind of autopilot the drums a bit more and focus on singing. Kind of like in martial arts, like when you're first learning a technique, you do it slow and you do it exaggerated. And this is not because you're gonna fight like that, this is just to get the muscle memory locked in. So PAU hitting those kick notes at the start are like very, very important. Because if you miss those notes at the beginning, it's gonna throw off your groove for the rest of the song. So she really exaggerates her movement to make sure she 100% hits them. And if you keep watching later, you'll see that she starts doing it less and less, and that's because her muscle memory is already engaged.
Is it wrong? Is it wrong? It kills me when you're gone. Is it wrong? Is it wrong?
So another trick is like to compose around the singing parts. So while she's singing, she wrote the drums in a way that lets her sing easier, like pretty standard beat, there's no offbeats or weird accents. Nothing that can really throw off her vocal timing, like that's all intentional, I'm willing to bet. But when she's not singing, that's when she does all the crazy fills and stuff.
Is it wrong? Is it wrong?
So when she's singing, drums get a bit easier, and when she's not singing, drums get a bit harder. And this isn't just like switching back and forth between singing and not singing, there's like different varying degrees in between as well. Like if she's singing while playing a crazy riff, like maybe her vocal line is just one long note for that section. So while she's doing this, her brain is like jumping back and forth between the drums and the singing. And I know, don't cancel me just yet. We're getting to the crazy stuff. I don't know if she does anything crazy in this song, actually. I know she did in Disciple.
Tell me, is it wrong?
Okay, that bit's a good example. Okay, so this is kind of that next level stuff. So she's singing like a moving melody over a moving beat, and it's stuff like this where you really need to sit down and practice very intently. And this goes for any instrument, like if you're singing while playing a riff on bass or guitar, like I'm sure Danny and Ale do this too. So again, kind of plan A is you would ideally have the instrument so dialed in from muscle memory that you don't even have to think about it. But you still have to get to that point, right? Like you can't just do this like right out the gate. And one technique we can use to get there is using what we call trigger notes or trigger words. So how can I demonstrate this? So the hardest song I've ever learned to sing while playing is Neon by John Mayer, and it sounds like this. And what a trigger word is when you have a certain lyric that you associate with a certain note in the riff. It's kind of like a checkpoint to let you know that you're on beat. So what part's good to demonstrate? A trail of ruby red and diamond white. So to do that, I had to find my trigger words. A trail of ruby red and diamond white. So my trigger words are ruby, diamond, and white. So I know that ruby lands on this note, and diamond lands here, and white lands here. A trail of ruby red and diamond white. And then I add a bit more and a bit more. A trail of ruby red and diamond white. And then I practice that and I get faster and faster. So I would hazard a guess that this is how PAU composed this song and how she practiced it. Where was that part?
I'll love you on my own. Stop me, tell me, is it wrong?
So I think that, again, this is just based on what I've seen from other drummers, this is just a guess, that when she was learning that part, she was also using trigger words. She might think like, okay, the left hand of the snare pattern is when I sing this word, and then she would build on that. And the next trigger word is when I hit the cymbal, and then the next trigger word is when I start this tom pattern. So using these trigger words as like checkpoints, you can kind of put them all together to learn it like piece by piece. But now, because she's done it so many times and she's so practiced, like she doesn't even have to think about it anymore. All she has to do is activate her muscle memory at the start of the song and off she goes. So if you like this kind of video, please consider subscribing. It really does help me out. And as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next video. Ha ha! Can I hurt anything in my circumference?
Wow.
Like,
Whoa!
How was it?